Coming to you live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, and all across the world, psychic, medium, and energetic healer Sheena Metal brings you Messages from Spirit.
Hi, and welcome to Messages from Spirit, only on PARAPOD TV. I'm Sheena Metal. I'm a psychic medium, and I'm an energetic healer, and I'm loving being with you every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific time on PARAPOD TV. You can find me everywhere at Sheena Metal on social media, or as my spirit nephew likes to say, the socials. And of course, you can visit my website anytime at sheenametalspiritual.com. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, send me a text message, 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886. And if you're asking, what do I do if I'm outside of the United States? WhatsApp me. That's my country code, 818-437-0886. Here's what we do every week on the show. I'm a real psychic, and I talk to real people, and you ask real questions. We get real messages from Spirit, and have some real conversations, and hopefully get you the real answers and the real healing that you need. So it's all about being real on this show, and it's all about you. And I love that. And it's all about just people who have questions. These are not, entertainers, actors, my best friends. These are just people. Some are clients. Some are people I know from my live shows like this. Some are people I don't know at all. And it's a lot of fun. And everybody so far has been so beautiful. And I love the show every week that we do it. So it's interesting. We're talking a little bit about fear today. I like to talk a little bit about something at the beginning of every show. I was talking to a client a couple of nights ago about fear and how fear and anxiety can manifest themselves physiologically, so that you wind up actually putting weight on. I'm a person with weight on. I'm a person with a lot of anxiety because of fear. And this client of mine has done every physiological thing possible to get this inflammation to come off. And it's just not coming off with diet, with supplements, with exercise, with hydration, with fasting. Nothing's working. And it's because when we spiritually impose inflammation upon us to protect us, right? We're literally putting a sack of water around us to buffer us from the world. And that can be because we have some point felt physically threatened, emotionally threatened, spiritually threatened, or even if that threat is imposed in our mind, as it often is with anxiety. It's so important that we remember that sometimes our fear manifests in different ways, right? It can manifest into migraines. It can manifest into an irregular heartbeat. You can give yourself a raging case of the Crohn's or IBS or ulcerative colitis. So many different things can happen just because your fear takes on a physical form. It literally becomes the monster in the closet. It becomes the boogeyman. And even though, as the expression goes, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Sometimes I think so there are some things to fear in the world and in the afterlife, but mostly that kind of fear we impose upon ourselves about things that aren't even happening. We create a situation that hasn't happened, and then we freak out about it, even though it hasn't happened. So a couple of things to remember. One, how is your fear manifesting on your body? How are you limiting yourself because of your fear, because of your anxiety? That's the first thing to think about. And the second thing to think about really is what is there actually to be fear about? What are you fearful of? Or has the fear just become its own thing? And you're just fearing the fear, which is often the case with anxiety. And especially when it manifests itself physically, be constantly doing checks on yourself. Sometimes if we just check our body and we realize nothing's going on, then we realize that the problem is our fear. My mom used to always say, from my old school Depression era mama, she used to always say, if you think you're having a heart attack, take an anti-anxiety medication, which she called a tranquilizer. Take a tranquilizer and an ibuprofen. And if the problems go away, you're not having a heart attack. Sometimes we are just stressed out and worried, and empaths, and all of that stuff has seeped into us from the world, from the news, from the social media, from Google, and we are just burned out, and we start to think that the world is a very fearful place to live. So think about that. Think about ways to dispel your fear, keep yourself in check, keep the fear in check, and I'm always here for you, and know that. I'm at 818-437-0886. Let's do a message from Spirit. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, who are you and where are you coming to me
I'm
from?
Christina from Springfield, Tennessee.
Beautiful. And what's your question, sweetheart?
Actually, it was kind of something to do with fear. Like, since the passing of my stepmother in 2017, I feel like my life has just kind of went downhill and I'm stuck. So my question is, like, what do I need to do to get out of this rut? And basically, it has something to do with fear, because I literally stay in the house all the time. Like,
Right.
It's affected everything, like even as far as work, because I have the anxiety of even going out to find a job. And I used to not be like this. So my question is, what can I do to get out of this?
Now, do you consciously know, Christina, why it's connected to your stepmother's death?
Because she held me accountable. Like, if I got off track in life, she held me accountable. So I kind of feel like now I don't have anybody that's like real enough to speak up when I'm getting off track, or to be like, hey, you need to do better. So I think the accountability.
Would it help to know that she is absolutely always still with you and still trying to keep you on track, but you're just not listening? So she's like a coach, she's in your corner, but the boxer's not listening.
Right.
So this is what she wants you to do. She wants you to listen for her, look for signs, listen for her, listen with your mind's eye, and think about when you start to sort of go off the rails, think about the things that she would tell you to do and how she would keep you from the edge.
Right.
And pull yourself back as if she were doing it. Because trust me, from spirit, she is doing it. And it's really, that's what makes her happy.
Okay.
And then remind yourself that you're going to do it in her honor, to thank her and to, revere her for the one that always kept you off the ledge. You're going to go off the ledge to make her proud.
Okay.
She's saying it's the most beautiful way you can honor her, sweetheart.
Thank you.
And my mama's saying baby steps and one step at a time. Don't push yourself. One thing at a time. Try just telling yourself, okay, get a little piece of paper and write down, Thursday, I'm going to go out of the house and do this one thing. And that's all you have to do, is the one thing.
Okay.
Just one thing has to get done. I do that sometimes because I'm so busy. I get so busy and then I get overwhelmed and I'm like, no, Thursday, you're going to the UPS store and you're dropping off the returns. And if you can do anything, everything else can wait, but you got to do the one thing. I do it because when I get really busy, I get scattered. And
Me
then
too.
Things just pile up and suddenly there's 15 errands and I'm like, when do I have time for all that? And then it gets worse.
Right.
So one thing. And if I were you, this is what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to take a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper and fold it in force and then fold it again. So you got 8 sides and 8 sides. And you're going to write down 16 days between the 2 sides of that paper. And every day you're going to write one thing you're going to do. And once you get past the 2.5 weeks, then maybe let's start trying to work on maybe half the days you'll do 2 things and half the days you'll do 1 thing. And it can be something simple like pay the bill or balance the checkbook. It doesn't have to be, I just said balance the checkbook like I'm 80. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of stuff in one day. If you looked at my lists, you would have anxiety just from looking at them. That's my own problem. I say I'm going to do that, and then the one day becomes like 17 lists. But one thing a day, okay? And then get a pretty highlighter pen that's a color you like, and then whoop, I did it. And then give yourself something nice, like you get to watch an hour of TV, or have a muffin or whatever you like because you did that thing, okay? And will you do me a favor and text me and check back with me after the 16 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you don't do it every day, don't beat yourself up. You're just trying your best. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Love you. Sending you so much love.
Thank you.
We beat ourselves up so bad, and we don't need to. It's so important. We got to stop beating ourselves up, because then you get nothing done. Because then every day you're like, oh, I'm a piece of crap. I'm just not going to do anything. And then you don't do anything. All right. All right. Sending you so much love. We're all sending some love to Christina. Let's do a message from Spirit. Hi. Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm Val. I had a question.
Sure, Val. Where are you from?
Huntington Beach, California.
Where I'm from. You could have sat right here.
Yeah, I'm hearing the thunder too.
It's nice, right? It's scaring the cat, but I'm loving it. What's your question, sweetie?
I'm an intuitive psychic too, and I see a lot of signs.
Okay.
But after I handle gems, I often see it more than usual. I like to ask if you could give some in-depth explanation or clarity on if you see repeating numbers, also known as angel numbers.
Sure. Yeah. So you're seeing a lot of those, right? More so since you've really accepted your gifts.
Well, no, since I've been touching gems and handling gems. And actually, I went to a gem store over the summer and I touched a lot of things. And after that, I've been seeing them every day.
Yeah, that's good, right? Look,
multiple times. But even if I even see it on my phone, I took a snapshot after ordering a plane ticket to go visit family. And at the top, the time was 333. And I looked it up on the chart and that meant support. I mean, these signs are really spot on.
Yeah. Well, 333, 3 is the Trinity number, right? So that's sort of like universe is watching out for you. I think 3s are beautiful. One day I discovered that my entire female support system, all my best girls, were all numerology 3 life path. And I'm like, oh, no wonder I feel so supported all the time. Yes. 1111, of course, is sort of when spirit wants you to think about the spiritual meaning in what's going on right now. That's kind of spirit going, hello, pay attention. And then, 8 is the universal symbol for universality, the infinity symbol. 4 is the angel number. 2 is a seeker number, a journey number. 5 is change. If I were you, because I feel like you're really, do you study numerology? I think you would find so much interesting stuff if you got more into numbers.
No, I haven't really studied. So who do you think is sending these messages through the numbers?
I think they're all coming from source, from universe, as sort of a tutorial and a guidebook for your gifts, for you to know that they're here, they're working with you with your gifts, and they're here to support you, and you're about to move into another level of working with your gifts. And then they're just here to support. And, gems and crystals are like little conduits, or like batteries, right? So when you touch them, then everything just becomes more heightened. So do you work with amethyst? That would be really good for you.
No, not specifically, but yeah, I should.
Get an amethyst. It's great for spiritual journey. And just touch that thing and soar. You're in such a good place, sweetie, but just protect yourself, because everything is going to get so much more visceral next year. And I just want to make sure that you spiritually protect yourself as you go. Okay.
Do you see repeating numbers often, also being a psychic?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I am an 11 life path. So I see 11s everywhere. And I'm actually a 2911, which means my numbers break down to 29 and then to 11. I see 29 and 11 everywhere. And pretty much on the 29th of every month, something amazing happens, or on the 11th of every month, and sometimes both. So
How
yeah.
do you find out your numbers?
What is your birthday?
July 4th.
Oh, that's wonderful. Like America. If you don't want to give me the year on the show, text me your day and year and month, and I will do it I'll send you your life path number.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right. Take care, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Numbers are magic, people. Math is the universal language. Math is the way, like, was it Contact? Was that the way we realized we could communicate with aliens using math? Numbers are numbers, no matter what language you speak or what planet you're from or whether you're alive or dead. Numbers are numbers. So universe communicates with us in numbers when you're home, when you're no longer on the planet and you're at home, which is what I like to call heaven home. Numbers are a language. So yeah, when spirit is sending you messages through numbers, and numbers are almost always that. They're usually not passed on loved ones. They're usually spirit guides, universe, God, source energy, sometimes angels. And it's usually for your overall health, betterment, and enlightenment. So awesome. So awesome. All right, let's get a message from spirit. Congratulations, Valerie, on all your wonderful gifts. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Who are you? Where are you coming to me from?
I'm Jen. I'm from Massachusetts, right outside of Boston.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love your accent, by the way. My best friend's from
Oh,
Massachusetts.
thank you.
So I love that accent.
Oh, and I have a heavy one.
She calls me a weirdo.
Yeah, yep. I do. That's
You
all my
weirdo. So no, she's right.
That's our thing, you know.
What is, I deserve it when I hear it usually. What's your question for me, sweetheart?
So I kind of feel like I'm like in a crossroads in my life between like my love life and career and everything, and like
Sure.
kind of not knowing of where to go, or I kind of just feel stuck.
Yeah, this next year is going to be a really big sort of a launch year for you. It feels like 2023 was very much a completion year for you, where you wrapped a lot of things up. And then moving into next year, there's going to be a lot of shifts. So take the next time between now and the end of the year and really fortify you and grow strength in you spiritually, emotionally, and physiologically, because next year it's going to be like you're shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
And you're feeling that in career, right? Like it's super time for a shift.
Yeah. I've been doing this for far too long.
And even with relationship, it's time for everything to shift.
Yeah.
You're growing, and in a way, you've sort of outgrown your life.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel. Yeah.
And that's okay, because you're growing into your next life. So it's sort of like you never outgrow your pants, because it's always a place to go get bigger pants.
Right.
So you never have to panic. People panic when they outgrow their lives or they outgrow people in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, it's just natural. If you are evolving and you're evolving faster than other people in your life, then you're going to outgrow folks.
Yeah.
So it's okay. And it is what it is. Right. And it's all right. And you're going to be great. Is your whole place purple in the background there?
Oh yeah. Purple's my favorite color. So like everything is purple.
And purple here too. Yeah. It's so funny because I keep talking about how I want to redo my reupholster my couches in like a dark plum purple velvet. So last night my best friend and her husband and I were watching a show, and there was this scene, and he goes, "Oh my God, look at those ugly purple couches." And we were both like, "That's what my couches are going to look like." Right now I'm trying to teach the little guy not to scratch the couch, because he's not allowed to scratch the purple velvet couches when they come.
It's like, that's important.
We match with all our purple. It looks so beautiful there. Also, do you work with crystals? Because that would really help you. I know we talked about that with Valerie, with the last person. That would really help you with this shift.
Okay. I don't know too much about crystals, but it would be something I'd be willing to look into.
Yeah, let's talk about some crystals. You need to start working with crystals.
Okay.
It just makes it all easier. Crystals are like having little best friends that fit in your pocket.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thank you, sweetheart. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, crystals are great. I love crystals. Do I have a crystal I can touch here? Oh, I have this selenite with an elephant. It was funny because I'm pastored at a progressive Christian church, and I'm their interfaith pastor. So I do a service once a month called Saturday Night Spiritual. And I was talking about, not being like your average Christian person. And I held this up and I'm like, because I have this on my desk. But this is like a giant selenite wand. I love elephants. So it has an elephant. This was a gift from my girlfriend. And the end used to be a perfect point, but now it's not because somebody dropped it. And that person that dropped it is about 14 pounds and blue. Does anyone know who that is? And very soft when you pet him. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to see if I can get somebody to like do that. But anyway, selenite is fantastic for cleansing. It's like almost like a scrub. Like when I do this, I feel like problems are being lifted off of me just from doing it. So yeah, for sure get, everybody needs to get a nice selenite wand and some black tourmaline, especially if you have gifts or you're in a transition, to really cleanse your palate. So, okay. All right. Let's do a message from Spirit. We've had such great people and I'm so excited. Hi.
Hi, Sheena.
How are you? Who are you and where are you coming from?
I'm fine. My name is Lori, and I am from Red Lion, Pennsylvania.
Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. And what's your question for me? You're like all in the dark, like a
That's
fan.
because I'm in my car driving home. I just pulled over to do the
Oh,
question.
that's right. And it's already dark. I forgot it gets dark at 3:00 in the afternoon now.
Yes, it gets dark early now. My question is kind of a twofold question. The first part of it is, could you explain to everyone what a spirit guide is? And the second part of the question is, could you tell me who my spirit guide is?
Sure. Okay. So spirit guides, I like to liken them to caseworkers in the social work system. They're assigned to you at birth, and they are not anyone who was ever alive on the earth with you. So if grandma was alive when you were alive, grandma's not a spirit guide. Grandma can choose to take care of you and be a guiding spirit, as my mother is for me. But spirit guides are assigned at birth. So at birth, that's what we got. So usually people have between 2 and 5. I have maybe once or twice met someone who had 1. This is really strange though. And sometimes somebody will have more, but there's only so many souls around that do it. And there's a lot of people here, so there's only so many. I would say on average, most people have 3. And because as we talked about when Valerie was on earlier, 2 callers ago, video callers ago, or whatever you guys are, 3 is the Trinity number, so the protection number, and your spirit guides are here for pure protection. Usually each one of them specializes in something in your life that is one of your big life lessons for this life. So if you are a spiritually gifted person, you usually have one that is just here to help you on your spiritual journey. If you are a creative person, you usually have one that was an artist. And spirit guides can be either people who passed a long time ago, or they can be people who were never, ever embodied. But they're not angels. Angels are like police, fire, paramedics. They belong to everybody. They work an area, and they're a totally different thing. But they can be like beings that were alive somewhere else, or interdimensional beings that were technically never alive. And it's interesting because you have an interdimensional spirit guide that's kind of this big, burly, almost greenish color, and very much presents as a warrior. So imagine if the Hulk was wearing Archangel Michael's outfit.
Okay.
That's kind of how this one presents, and really is about pushing away evil. And I know that's kind of a cryptic thing to say, and I don't mean to be cryptic, but are you always sort of battling evil?
I don't know. I just recently discovered that I have some gifts as an empath.
Okay.
And I'm just learning how to control some of that at this point. So I get overwhelmed by a lot of emotions, especially in crowds, things like that. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and I think also if you're in a situation where there are negative things, whether those negative things are in spirit or human,
Mhm.
you're kind of a person who's always battling evil. I know evil's a very strong word, darkness. Um, Empaths are, darkness is attracted to the light in empaths. So it's something like a magnet thing. It's an opposites attract thing. So do you find yourself in your life always sort of like chucking away narcissist after narcissist?
I kind of feel like that. And I'm also working with a friend of mine as a paranormal investigator. So we go into places
There
that
you
a
go.
lot of times we already know there are a lot of negative spirits there.
Yeah, there you go.
And they seem to always come to me, like they're like drawn to me. And I wondered why, but I guess that must be it.
Yeah, because of the light within, because empaths are like little lighthouses. And they're always emitting a lighthouse with the beacon that goes around in a circle. They're always
Mhm.
emitting light in a force field around us. And something like a narcissist or negative energy or something that doesn't make its own light, they're looking to come to you to, for lack of a better term, really eat your light.
Gotcha.
And, nobody wants their light eaten, but sometimes you just gotta,
So
you
my
know.
one spirit guide is that person that is trying to help me push that away.
Yeah, protect you from that and teach you how to battle that on your own. And so there is a sword involved. And I know it's a symbolic sword. It's not an actual sword, but like the way we show Archangel Michael with a sword. And
Okay.
this particular being actually falls under the umbrella of Archangel Michael. So a lot of, because everybody has a job that they do when they're not here,
Mhm.
or wherever their home, wherever their teaching planet is. And usually the jobs at home, sometimes you fall directly under the umbrella of spirit with those jobs, and sometimes you fall under the umbrella of one of the archangels. And so this one falls under the umbrella of Archangel Michael in the way that healers fall under the umbrella of Archangel Raphael. I mean, when I'm home, my job at home falls under that. So yeah, very much is a warrior and is here to teach you that part of why you're here is to battle that darkness and to put light in its place.
Okay.
That's
Well,
part of the whole reason that you're here.
well, then I know and it's interesting because my name, Lori, means warrior.
See, there you go. Yeah, yes, that is wonderful. Yes. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? You are a warrior, and you're here to protect those that can't protect themselves, and also to protect the earth and the energy of the earth and the vibration of it all in general. So don't take lightly what you do. And you remember when you go into a paranormal place investigating, it's more than just gathering evidence and saying, oh my God, look what we got. You're
Mhm.
literally in there to change the energetic balance of a place and to keep the darkness at bay so that the next, unknowing soul that goes in there doesn't have a problem.
Okay.
You know,
So is that the only spirit guide that you see for me?
no, you have 3, but that's the only one I have time for because I'm running.
Okay.
But that's he's the one that it looks like a he, but he probably they
Okay.
don't have gender where that being is from. Presents very forward presenting, so really kind of pushed the others out of the way and came running out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's interesting. Thank you so much.
look for the color green because he's green. I know it's weird, but it's not weird where he's from.
Okay. It's
All right.
great talking to you. How's your kitty cat doing?
He's wonderful. I have to lock him out during this show because
Oh, I love him. He's so
nobody wants to
sweet.
see nothing but him on me like alien.
Yep.
You know?
Every time I watched you, he's had his paw on your face.
Oh my God, that boy snuggles like nobody's business. So, all right.
Well,
Take
thank
care,
you for
sir.
having me on. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
You bet. We've all got a purpose, people. We've all got a job. I'm so thirsty today. We all have a purpose. And we're all here. Well, not all of us, but all of us that walk in the light. We're here to raise the light quotient. And that's awesome. So, yeah, it's super exciting. All right. Let's do another message from Spirit. But first, let's talk a little bit about darkness and light, because I don't want you to be scared. I want you to know that it's totally okay to know that we live in a world and a universe that is split between darkness and light. It's okay. It's nothing to be fearful of. And it is what it is. It's nothing to take personally. In the same way that, I grew up in a surf town, and when you go into the water, the sharks are there. It's nothing personal. And sometimes they eat your toe, but it's nothing personal. They're there. They belong there. We're there. We belong there. And that's just the way it is. So you can't let yourself get all tripped out about, oh my God, the darkness is coming for me. There's darkness. There is darkness. Yeah. But that's just the way it is, So stay in the light, build the light up, worry more about your position in raising your vibration and raising your light quotient inside of you than you are worried about whether or not the darkness is out there. We do that. We focus on the negative. We're humans. We spend more time focusing on the one person in our life that doesn't like us than we spend focusing on the 5 people in our life that love us. We'll stop if somebody's giving away flowers on one side of the freeway and somebody got decapitated on the other. We'll all slow down and look at the decapitation, because that's how we are. So try not to be that. Try to raise yourself above that and not worry about the darkness, but worry about how much light can you put into the world. I have a workshop I teach. It's called Feed the Light and Starve the Dark. And it's about fighting darkness through raising your light, right? What's that expression? The best revenge is living well. You be happy. Focus on that. All right, that's my 2 minutes on darkness and light. But that's really important. So think about that. If you want to be a guest on the show, send me a text message. It's the easiest way. It's private. It's this phone. It's my phone. Right now it's watching a stopwatch so I don't run the show over by a half hour. 818-437-0886. And if you're out of the United States, you can use WhatsApp 1-818-437-0886. And don't forget to visit my website at sheenametalspiritual.com and follow me everywhere on social media. It's just @Sheena Metal. And with that, let's do another message from Spirit. Hi. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Who are you? Where are you coming in from?
I'm Christina, and I'm from the Dallas area.
Beautiful. What's your question, honey?
Well, actually, I just wanted to, I wanted to show you, I got a piece of selenite too, similar to yours.
Nice.
And
beautiful.
My son, who doesn't believe in any of this stuff, it's all woo-woo, he's like Mr. Doomsayer, and he's like, make sure you don't get that wet, because apparently it emits toxic fumes. So don't get your selenite wet.
Okay, I've never heard that, but I do know that it's basically salt and it will dissolve.
Yeah. He didn't tell me that so much as I read that not too long ago, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll keep my selenite safe. But yeah, he's a nut. So he's very empathic and has powers, but doesn't, is in denial.
Sure, it's scary.
Yeah. So, Well, I was wondering, how do you find out your life purpose? We're talking about somebody's life purpose. How do you find out what your purpose is?
Well, I think finding out your purpose it's baby steps every day, right? Day by day by day. You release, you surrender, and you allow spirit to tell you what step to take next. And the next thing you know, you're on your path. It's really about listening, because at any time, spirit can change your life purpose to something else, because it depends on where you're needed.
That's
So
interesting.
it's really about listening. But I can tell you that your purpose right now is so about sharing all of the psychic knowledge that you've amassed with others and helping non-believers to become believers, that there's more for everyone than what they think.
That totally makes sense, because that's what I do all the time. You know, I mean, I don't know what you would say. I've turned people on to it. That's what you would say. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, anytime I get a chance, I talk about that and stuff. Since I don't know, I've heard it called Awakened, about 2018 or 17 or so, yeah. But I'm really into the whole, like, sharing everything I know. So yeah. I mean, that's cool. I'm a life path 7.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, I figured out how to do that. And of course, then I've read everything there is to read about it, you know, because I'm fascinated. My boyfriend's mother was a life path 7. And I was like, ooh, I know all about her. So, but she passed away because she was 95 or something.
Sure.
But
yeah, life
path
is great. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you so much for the question.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You take care.
You too, honey. I'm going to talk a little bit, but I had to let the echo go. Christina had an echo. Life Path 7 are seekers, very much. The nice thing about Life Path 7s is that they are ultimately believers, but they're skeptical believers. So, you know what I mean? They're not going to take they're not going to buy any wooden nickels, as my mother's generation used to say. But they ultimately are the strongest, advocates of what they believe. But it takes them a while to get there, because they do want to go through the steps of skepticism to make sure that they're not just believing everything, which is great. I think in order to be a true believer, you have to also be what I like to call a skeptical believer, which is what I am. You don't take anything at face value. You want to do your own research and your own check on it. But then once you believe in something, then you become its biggest ally. And I think that's wonderful. And by the way, I've never heard that there's anything toxic about selenite. But don't get it wet, because it will dissolve. I think what Christina was actually referring to was salt lamps. There is this weird rumor that salt lamps emit toxicity. And there's also this weird rumor that you can't have salt lamps around cats because they're toxic. So here's how a salt lamp is toxic to a cat or a dog. Salt lamps are basically Himalayan pink salt, which is one of the most cleansing things that you can bathe in. People use it instead of ionized salt on their food. It's iodine salt on their food. They emit negative ions. They're wonderful. But cats become obsessed with things, especially cats. If your cat is going to sit and lick it all day, it's basically building up a high salt diet, which is bad for anybody. Nobody should be sucking on a piece of salt all day long. And then also, cats tend to have problems with their kidneys. And so your kidneys have to break down things like salt granules. So if your cat is always addicted to the salt, it's a hard thing for the kidneys to process. But no, and my cat, Colin pays no attention to them. He doesn't even, my cat, he doesn't even like acknowledge they're here. And I have like 20 of them. I have like, this room alone has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So yeah, everything's fine. It's just, I think there's a lot of rumors. I remember somebody was giving all their salt lamps away on a let go kind of app because they'd heard they were poisonous for cats. And I tried to convince her they weren't, and she wouldn't listen. And I said, well, then give them to me and I'll come get them. And she did. And I went and picked them up, took her salt lamps. I should start that rumor to get more salt lamps. Yeah. So here's a rumor I'm starting. Salt lamps are toxic. Selenite is toxic. Crystals are toxic. Sage is toxic. Palo Santo is toxic. Sound bowls are toxic. Brooms are toxic. Cauldrons are toxic. Buddhas are toxic. So if you want to let all of them go, feel free to give them to me. I'm just saying. It's a good plan, isn't it? So I'm going to get everybody's spiritual stuff. Candles are toxic. Incense oil is toxic. Sticks are toxic. What if you were just tuning in for the first time now and you're like, who is this weirdo saying everything is toxic? But it is actually pretty funny, right? All right, let's do another message from Spirit.
Hi,
Hi, who are you and where are you coming in from, sweetie?
I'm Ashley, and I'm from the Cleveland, Ohio area. So it's
Beautiful.
dark here too.
Yeah, I think it's dark here with the rain and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What's your question for me, sweetie?
So I kind of want to keep the person confidential.
Okay.
But I'm wondering what my ex I'm kind of wondering, if he's regretting breaking up with me and if he's gonna come in very soon and kind of mend things and do things right this time.
Yeah, he misses you. He certainly misses day to day having you in his life, communicating and having you in his life in a positive way. But he's so closed up and he so pulls inside of himself, and it sounds crazy, but he just doesn't know how he can be the kind of person you need him to be in a relationship. So I think it's so important when he comes back and he gets back in touch with you that you sort of let him set the pace, Ashley, of what's going to happen. And you let him come around to it as he becomes comfortable. One of the problems, we were talking about opposites attract earlier with darkness and light, but with people's personalities, sometimes in relationships, one person will be very open and one person will be very closed. In the twin flame community, right, we call it runners and chasers. And for some reason, runners always find chasers and chasers always find runners. So chasers, and I say this with love because in my past, I have been a chaser. That's my natural inclination. When we know what we want, we're all in and we're all ready to go and everything's great. And I love this person. And why would there be a problem? I'm going to give 150%. But people who run, people who are fearful, people who are wary and skeptical about relationships, that terrifies them. That openness and that givingness and that I love you and I'm ready to go, let's do whatever you want to do, is terrifying to them. Yeah. And they almost get suspicious, like, well, something must be wrong with you because you love me so much. So what's wrong with you? And sometimes you'll find people like that being drawn to people who have no interest in them because that's sort of how they think they deserve to be treated, you know?
So does that mean he's my twin flame?
He definitely is somebody you have a strong soul tie with. And I think you can feel that pull in your solar plexus.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was just talking to my coworker about this today, kind of trying to figure it out. So
yes,
I didn't know if it was like a twin flame or like soulmate type situation. I'm kind of learning the difference. And
yes. Yes. It's like a twin flame. It's a soul tie.
Okay.
So you just have to let him sort of set the pace. And that's okay, right? I mean, it's okay.
But does he still like, I mean, I understand, the chase, the whatever, but does he still know like deep down that he loves me and like, things like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The feelings are still there. He just doesn't know what to do with them because he's just
put him in motion.
He just has trouble. Yeah, he just has trouble, going from A to Z. And in the same way that our first caller today, right, was Christina was talking about how she has trouble leaving the house.
Yeah.
And he has trouble, getting into and staying in a relationship and being okay,
Mm-hmm.
So,
So do you see it being like, I mean, not like right now, but in the very near future? Or
yeah, I do. I just think he needs a little more time. And
okay.
he'll come around. But I think it's so important. I know this is hard for you, but you have to listen. When he comes back, you have to go as slow as he wants to go and not get frustrated. Know that
Try
he
not
is
to cry.
right. Try not to
Sorry.
cry. Try not to overwhelm him, and just stay as chill as you possibly can. And
Mhm.
just know that that's what he can handle, and he needs to set that pace. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You're in good shape.
Thank you so
sweetheart.
much.
You're wonderful. Thank you, Ashley. It's going to be okay, sweetie. I'm here for you. All right,
Thank
sweetheart.
you so much.
We're all going to send you so much love. Let's all send Ashley some love. It's hard to come here and ask a question from your heart and be vulnerable. And even though a lot of you have at one time or another, either during one of my psychic lives that I do 2 or 3 times a week, or whether you're a private client of mine, you've, bared your soul to me. It's a whole different thing to bare your soul on camera while someone's looking at your face. And I completely admire everyone who's done this show, which is why I have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group just for people who have done the show. So if you want to be a guest on the show, you'll be asked to join the private Facebook group afterwards. Yay! Isn't that exciting? All right. I think you are all so wonderful. Please find me at sheenametalspiritual.com and everywhere on the socials at Sheena Metal. That's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter. Is it ever going to really become fully X? Because I still see Twitter everywhere. When you post, are you now Xing? Like, I don't understand what happens there, but that's okay. And then, of course, if you want to book a private session with me or get to know me better, please reach out and send me a text message, 818-437-0886, or find me on WhatsApp if you're out of the country, out of the United States, 1-818-437-0886. I love you all. I hope you all survive this crazy weather that's going all over the United States right now. Until I see you next Wednesday at 2:00 Pacific time, only on Parapod TV. Seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration, and know that you are loved and you are loved and you're so loved by me. And I'll see you next time. I'm Sheena Metal. I'm a real psychic talking to real people, having real answers to real questions, getting real healing, and having some real conversation every week. Thank you to Tony Sweet, the owner of Parapod TV, and to my wonderful engineer and producer, Emery. They are the wind beneath my wings, and I couldn't do it without them. I'll see you next time. I love you all. Take care.
Mm-hmm.